All right. Welcome to the Ryan Files, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday night. I appreciate y'all tuning in. It's been one heck of a week here at the Ryan Files studio. It's just a little bit crazy. I'm a little bit crazy. Last night, okay, so I get home from work. I feed the kitties. I take a big gulp of water, and you ever swallow wrong and then you have to cough, but it's halfway down your throat, and then you cough and it goes up and through your nose, and you just spew everything out. That happened to me last night, which I'm sure is too much information, but it went all the way up my nose, and so I went to bed, and all night long I felt how when you start feel like you're getting sick and you feel that burning sensation behind your nose. I had that, and I've had it all day, and it's did I make myself get sick by choking on water? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but it's fascinating. Welcome you all, John Jeffords. Yeah, Christine, man, killer on the ice, huh? Welcome, Jolie. Appreciate you. Kathy Kalish, Christine Jeffords. So I'm not sure when I ask this question. Guitar from the Identical. No, that is not a guitar from the Identical movie. That is my Gibson guitar, just acoustic guitar. So, anyways, so interesting night or day today. I just got done doing some interviews that are just fascinating. But, I want to talk about the week first, and I want to get into it. Appreciate everyone coming out. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to not have audio issues like I had last week. I'm as dumb as I look. But, last week we had Bart Sibrel on, which was a fascinating episode. 56% of people who voted in the poll don't believe we went to the moon. I mean, that's not a fringe. That's half the audience. Obviously, this is why we have these conversations, why we bring on guests like Bart Sibrel, but why we ask the uncomfortable questions and so forth. But, man, I can't believe that was that number. Because, like everybody else, I want to believe that we went to the moon. Bart lays out a pretty compelling argument. And I don't know, man. It's kind of fascinating. The one that got me, and tell me if you have a point that got you on that in particular, or if you still think we went to the moon, please write it in there in the comments. But the one that got me is Elon Musk saying it would take, I think, 13 rocket ships full of fuel to make the trip. And a lot of people think the big old Titan, was it Titan 5 or 4, whatever rockets were during the Apollo missions, biggest rocket ever built. They think that whole thing is full of fuel and takes you to the moon. No, that only gets you out of the atmosphere into Earth orbit. And then you just have a tiny little dual craft that takes you all the rest of the way to the moon. Then you got to land on the moon. Then you got to come back up off the moon. And there's not as much gravity, but still you need some propulsion. Obviously, the ability to maneuver, adjust course along the way. 3-day journey there, 3-day journey back. I just don't know how you fit the fuel, and not let alone a dune buggy. I just don't know how you do it. That was probably one of the most compelling things. I already knew about the Van Allen radiation belts, which I can't buy that we've made it through there. We don't even know how to get through there now. I thought that was really compelling too. The NASA guy saying, one of the problems we got to solve if we're going to go to the moon is the Van Allen radiation belts. When allegedly we've been there and back 6 times, so 12 times through these things. I don't know, man. It just doesn't make any sense. Let me see what you got to say. Kristen Turner, no problem. Don't worry about it. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll talk a little bit about that too. Just joined to hear part 3 of Weston Warren. Thank you so much. That's awesome. And it's an awesome episode. And we already got number 4 coming up. We'll talk about that in a second too. Appreciate everyone tuning in. John O'Malia, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you. Sheila Sutton. Awesome. Kristen Turner. I believe a backup film was produced. So, Tony, you believe that we went, but a backup film was produced in the event that we didn't go. All right. Seriously, how do you explain the fuel in the Van Allen radiation belts? And some of the footage, I don't know. I don't know. The evidence was so strong, I want to believe that we went, but John and I watched a few of Bart's videos and it doesn't look like they went. yeah, it's kind of crazy. So you watched it on old black and white TV. I can't see your name, CC3194. Yeah, there's a lot of lies. Who was taking the pictures? Well, John, I mean, I can Photoshop you every kind of picture you want right now that makes it look the same as those. I mean, that's pretty simple. Anyways, do you happen to look at the date in March? I have tickets for I can't. I will get that to you, Julie. I don't know it off the top of my head. Sorry. It's towards the end, though. I know that. Anyways, it's just fascinating that we, are down this rabbit trail of did we go to the moon or not? Yeah, it's pretty compelling evidence. And I get it, man. I don't want to be the one who is a denier. And there's a lot of people who are just like, no, we went. And I could tell like some people were commenting on the episode and didn't even watch it just because it's such a hardcore belief. No, we went to the moon. And like I said, I agree with Christine and John. I want to believe we went to the moon. I do believe that there was probably a backup and all that stuff. But, man, it just... 1 and 1 doesn't equal 2 on this one, guys. So, anyways, fascinating episode. We're going to have Bart back. I've already recorded the episode with Bart. And we're going to be talking about aliens and Planet X. You think the moon landings were wild. Wait till you get to this one. But the key points, I thought it was funny that 56% in the audience said we didn't go. That's interesting. I think it's one of the takeaways is how it really screws up NASA's and our government's credibility overall. And yes, I do believe that the space program exists in terms of satellites. And it's invaluable for a number of reasons, communication, and there's probably weapons there. I do know that data centers are going to be that's the next best thing. It's going to be data centers in space, which is kind of scary. But, and I thought it was kind of crazy too, like the story about him and the CNN trip and getting drugged and all that. That's wild and crazy. That doesn't, if you believe Bart, that just doesn't happen willy-nilly for no reason. Could we have gone and covered it up somehow and covered something up? I don't know, man. And then the astronauts, how they reacted. A lot of people say, well, we couldn't go then, but we have gone since. I don't know that we have. It's just interesting. What if Bart's right? What if Bart's wrong? Yeah, it's one of those things that just divides down the middle. So, but when half the audience doubts the biggest achievement of the 20th century, kind of tells you where you are culturally, right? So, fascinating. Let's see here. Anybody, do you happen to hook up? Yeah, hi Sheila, thanks. I haven't tied tickets first. I'll look at that, Julie. Is Planet X the black star, the dark star Weston speaks of? Possibly. We haven't made that connection, but I do know we had on a gentleman by the name of Marshall Masters, who Bart has talked to, I know, in writing his book about aliens and Planet X. There are some similarities between the dark star anomaly that Weston talks about and Planet X. I think that Weston doesn't believe it's actually a planet, but rather just an electromagnetic anomaly. So I think there's some relation there. I think it can't, I guess it could be both. I think they might both be talking about the same thing, but with different aspects to it. Is it a planet? Is it, an electromagnetic anomaly? I'm not sure, but I guess it's in the same vein. You might just say that. So, let's see here. Never thought of a question if they were not. Yeah, like I said, it's crazy. Hey, Brenda, how you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you. Um, is Lori here? I can't. I didn't see Lori. Oh, there she is. Hey, Lori, good to have you on. Appreciate you, girl. Think about you. Um, could it be it hasn't come through into this dimension? I don't think it's a dimensional anomaly that Weston's talking about, CC. I think it's a real, it's physical, but it is technology. Um, Technology controlled by what Weston refers to as counter space, which is, in essence, a heavenly realm. So I don't think it's a matter of it not being in our dimension. I think it is a matter of where it's positioned, which he really goes into some new information he has coming up and whatnot. But we'll get to Weston in a second. Tonight, the secret diary of Admiral Byrd. We question whether we went to the moon. Now we're questioning, is the Earth hollow? The secret diary of Admiral Byrd is very interesting. A lot of people say it's fake. A lot of people say it's absolutely true. Like the astronauts after they came back and were kind of weird during the press conference, it is interesting that Admiral Byrd had several interviews and was just the opposite. Very outspoken. In fact, he got basically canned and kicked out of the Navy for some of the stuff he said on those interviews. But, I mean, he was very, very adamant. We now live in a world where there's craft that can make it from pole to pole in seconds, in the blink of an eye. He went down. The diary is about a North Pole expedition, by the way. A lot of people aren't aware of that. They think it's Antarctica. The secret diary happened on a North Pole expedition. The Antarctica stuff, though, with Operation High Jump, is absolutely fascinating. After World War II, the whole world is at peace, taking a big sigh of relief. And what's the United States do? We put together a whole armed flotilla, like we're going to battle. Okay, a whole battle group heads down to Antarctica, and ready to be there for a while too. The mission was supposed to last months and months and months, and it didn't. We came back limping into the closest deep water port in Santiago, Chile, I believe, or somewhere in Chile. It's kind of fascinating. All kinds of craft. I guess one craft was sunk. They talk about UFOs. They talk about directed energy weapons. People died on this mission, and it wasn't, because of exposure or anything like that. So Operation High Jump is a whole different thing in Antarctica, what's going on there. So, but this particular episode is about a secret diary about the North Pole. And he basically flew into inner Earth, was escorted by flugel rods, which is another word for what appeared to be German UFOs. Apparently had symbols that looked like swastikas on them. So it's taken directly from the diary. So I kind of do the voiceover on it, and it's kind of a fun episode. Threw in a little sound effects for the plane and whatnot, but fascinating episode. It's not very long, and I recorded that. I remember recording the intro for that 2 years ago in a hotel, the hotel in Skokie, Illinois. I think it's the Doubletree Inn or whatever. So, I remember that. Kind of crazy. So it's been a while. We've come a long way, but I think it's a fun episode. So check it out tonight, right after 7 o'clock tonight on the Ryan Files. Let's see here. Hey, Rebecca, how you doing? Cool. All right, so definitely tune in, Admiral Byrd tonight. We've got some upcoming bangers, man. I'm telling you, I'm really kind of proud of what's going on, because it's gotten to the point where, we were at one episode, then we go to 2 episodes a week, and Then it was crazy during January trying to fill in all those dates, and kind of took everything you could get. A lot of consciousness episodes, which I don't want that to be the focus of this particular program, but it is fascinating because you get into Gnosticism and all kinds of crazy stuff. But that being said, it's getting to the point now where I can research a topic, find someone to talk about it, email them, and they'll come on. Or people are emailing me, hey, I'd like to come on, and I can say yes or no. And it's really led to some really cool episodes that are coming up. So, yeah, just like Weston Warren coming up, part 3 of his interview. And the, what did I say? Harvested is the title. Are we being harvested? The human race. Are we the human race being harvested? And we're not just talking about, well, harvested, if you think about it. And he uses the expression, it talks about cattle. Cattle, you'll take and you'll process the cow, and you use every part. For meat, you use the hoofs, you use everything, and you use the leather, the hide, leather. If you have a car with leather seats, well, that's used to be a cow. But when we process it, we use it up and try to get everything out of it, every resource we can. And his argument is that there's a similar thing going on with humans, not only humans, but their consciousness. And this is all being controlled and conducted by, for lack of a better word, not human, not Earth, another source off planet, meaning however you want to take that. Rudy, are you joining us tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, Rudy. Finn's sitting over here sleeping, being a good girl, and Rudy's just deciding to come on in and block lights and skulk around. Don't mess with her while she's sleeping, man. I can't believe she's sleeping. All right. So, Weston's definitely building towards something in these episodes. We already talked. He's coming back for episode 4. But there's a lot of groundwork to lay down, and there's a lot of explaining you got to do to set the table for, I think, the big reveal, which is coming. And listen, I can tell you definitely check out the aftermaths of these episodes, especially with Weston. In fact, this last one, I had to cut some of the information out. I had to cut some of it out because it's classified material. So, but I do believe he's going to find a way to sneak some of that in. So definitely, if you haven't checked out the aftermath, there's some really good stuff on Patreon. Yeah, it's a different membership than YouTube memberships. I wish I could figure out a way to combine them, and maybe someday I will. But until that time, it is what it is. And some of that stuff I want to have behind a paywall anyways, because it's not censored. Some of the stuff at YouTube, sometimes we edit just to make sure that it gets through the algorithm, doesn't make anyone mad. But the aftermath stuff is all open mic. Whatever. You might hear a swear word, you might hear a whatever, you might hear something shocking. But the aftermaths are definitely where it's at. So if you enjoy an episode, go over to patreon.com/OrionFiles, check it out. And then next week on After Dark, we have Debbie Ziegelmeyer coming on from MUFON. And she's a wild child. I love her. She's actually a diver, and she's her MUFON diver. So we will be talking about underwater stuff to a degree, but basically we really talk about crash retrievals, and she knows a lot of information about that. So, and that conversation led to me having a connection with someone else that is coming on talking about the Majestic 12. Google that. Ryan Wood is coming on talking about Majestic 12. I interview him next week. So a lot of good stuff going on. But check out Debbie Ziegelmeyer from MUFON. next Friday night. So, it's not speculation. It's investigation, which is cool. So we gotten to the point. You saw that Donald Trump said, we're going to release all the UFO stuff. I'm not holding my breath on that. We've seen what has happened with the Kennedy assassination documents and the the Epstein files. So I'm not holding my breath on it, but we might get more information, and it might increase public awareness, because there's definitely something going on. And it's time, right? It's time. So a little strategy shift going on here at the Ryan Files. You might, over the next couple months, we've gotten accustomed to watching that subscription rate just grow fast. And in part, that's just because of strategy in place and whatnot. Understand that as a podcast that has on guests, it's hard to get a credible guest to come on whenever you only have 1,000 subscriptions. And I'm really, in retrospect, pleased at the people that have come on in the past when I had a very low number. Steve Quayle came on, and I think I was below 1,000 at that point. He's a huge name. So I respect it, and I love it. But I also knew, okay, we got to grow that. How do we do that? So went down the rabbit hole of figuring out how to do that. And now we're at 170 thousand subscriptions. Obviously, I want that number to continue to grow, and it will. It's just that's not the focus now, because you can get, it's adequate enough to get most of the people you want to have on. Is it Joe Rogan level? No. But it is certainly, it lends credibility, I guess, to the channel. And not only that, but also people I've interviewed who have really enjoyed the interview with me, because just the way I deal with them. So those are all good things. So now the focus goes to not that we don't need the subscriptions for credibility and leverage as much anymore. What we do need is, the door is now open, so to speak. So now we need to just have clout. So and how's that happen? Well, that happens through metrics like watch time, retention, views per episode, stuff like that. Retention is a big one. How long do people watch? So it's not that we're chasing numbers or anything, but it is data and it's out there. So that's kind of the change in focus in how I do interviews, edit, and whatnot. And I think you'll see a change coming. But basically I'm just telling you guys this because I kind of consider y'all the inner circle, so to speak. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate all that you've done. The goal at the bottom, in the end of the day, is really grow that evergreen audience, which is an audience that's going to tune in no matter if an episode gets, throttled or not. Certainly the Moon one with Bart Sibrel did, but that being said, people who watched it were engaged with it quite a bit, a lot more than normal. They watched longer, and those are all good things, because once you get an evergreen audience built that will come back and support the show just by watching the entire episode, it's a massive deal. So, and that's because of you guys. I appreciate you. Like I said, you're kind of the inner circle, so thank you for all of that. But I guess I'll leave it on one final point. Something very fascinating happened today, or yesterday. Hold on one second. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, the nano bioharvesting is crazy. Sabrina Wallace, yeah. Tricked by the good fallen. That's an interesting concept, CC, and I don't say too much. I don't say too much about it because I want him to take it where he wants to take it. So, yeah. What's that? Oh, that's awesome, Julie. You got someone to subscribe to the Ryan Files. It is funny, though. Weston said he wants to come out to the show. If you catch the aftermath. We're just talking after the episode, and he's like, hey, I wanted to ask you, could my wife and I and kids come out to see the show? I thought that was awesome. I don't think that he's necessarily being tricked. I just don't think we have the whole story yet. And I also think that he phrases things and keeps a narrative that isn't pushing certain kinds of beliefs, be it his views on spirituality and religion and things like that. I don't think that he wants that to muddy the waters of what it's about. So, but it's all fascinating, no doubt about it. Speaking of fascinating, on Thursday morning, which is yesterday morning, I interviewed a gentleman by the name of Miles Spencer. If you have the ability, write this down right now. Reflekta.ai, that's REFLEKTA.ai. Miles Spencer is the CEO of the company. Fascinating individual, to say the least. But basically, what his vision is for the company is to be able to take and create a reflection of a human being while they're alive or after they've passed away that you can interact with for eternity. Are we talking digital immortality here? Because it's so funny. He said 4 billion people hate me, 4 billion people love me. And so you want to talk about a topic that is divisive, to say the least. Because there's some people who love it and think it's honoring the legacy of the person who's passed on. And there's people that think it's digital necromancy, so to speak. So very fascinating individual, fascinating interview. And I feel good about the interview. But he's a salesman too. And he brings it. But one of the things in the episode is going to be an actual conversation with a reflection named Arthur. Arthur is Miles' father, who passed away in 2017. And yet he lives on today as a reflection at Reflekta.ai. And if you're so inclined, you can go to Reflekta.ai and create an account, and you can talk to Arthur right now. There's also another reflection on there. You can talk to a female. And it's fascinating. I include in the episode conversation with Arthur for those who, aren't motivated to go do it yourself. And it just raises a lot of questions. Is this a good thing? Are we crossing lines we were never meant to cross? I don't know. But I am excited for you guys to see this episode. In fact, I changed around some things to get it out sooner than later. So Weston Warren will be next Tuesday, and the week after that will be Miles Spencer and Reflekta. And I mean, I put that ahead of a couple really huge episodes. Gary Wayne, Patrick Wood talking about technocracy, which you've got to see these episodes. Gary Wayne episode is about superheroes, by the way. So I just think I want to go down this road a little bit more with regards to AI and what it's actually capable of and what it's doing. And I wanted to present that before I bring on Patrick Wood, because Patrick Wood talks about elites wanting to, call the planet, so to speak, and in doing so, rather than, get your hands dirty with mass murder or anything like that, genocide or anything. You can live on in a a digital realm. We'll upload your consciousness into AI, and you can live the rest of your life happy in a digital fashion. This is really happening, folks. Okay, this is really happening right now. You can go talk to Arthur right now, Reflekta.ai, and you can ask him questions like, of course he passed away in 2017, so he doesn't really respond to too much. But just go talk to him. What's it like to be a reflection in there? What do you do all day? Are you real? You can ask all these questions, and it's fascinating the kind of responses you get. So, and he likes to talk. Boy, he likes to talk. He'll talk your ear off. Anyway, and he's talking about too, like how right now it's just voice, but very soon coming online as actual, 3D avatar of this guy. And I mean, fascinating stuff. Let me look at your comments. Rudy is beautiful and he's huge. Let's see. Everybody's out of cards. I'm out of cards. You know what? A lot of guests say, I appreciate you letting me speak. And that's the funny thing. Like, and there does come times where I'm like, maybe I need to interject here because they've been talking for 20 minutes straight. But I also understand, like, people are tuning in for the guest. So, and most of what comes out of my mouth is stupid anyway. So I do like to, I certainly have notes and try to steer the conversation sometimes. And it just depends on the person you're interviewing. Sometimes they are psh, 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 and sometimes they can go any direction at any given time. Gary Wayne you can say anything, and he can talk for 35 minutes about it straight with massive backed up knowledge on his head. He's a walking library, and that's awesome. And there's other people that you need to kind of guide along the way. So, but most people who are on the Ryan Files at this point have talked publicly, have arranged their narrative and their talking points and whatnot. So why would I get in the way of that? And I don't like watching podcasts where someone interjects all the time and repeats stuff just for the sake of, it's my podcast, let me talk. That's not me. So I appreciate that compliment, CC. And like I said, that's something that the guests will often comment about. So, hey, Kavzini, how you doing? You can clone me. I won't be there. I think you're absolutely right. I think that there is the perception on this side that you are, but it's all smoke and mirrors. For those of you who tuned in last week and saw, without audio for part of it, my office setup, you know that the computer is below this glass, and sometimes I want to type comments, and I can't, so I did get this little extra keyboard. It's a Bluetooth keyboard, so I can do stuff like, I can go real big message like, yo, and I can't see the enter button, or it's not working. I don't know. Did it? What? Oh. Well, this is embarrassing. Yo, folks. Boy, this is anticlimactic. Well, now it's not working. I don't know. Never mind. Man, it was going to be an awesome little techie thing. Does it work down here? Oh, I know what happened. My mouse was at the wrong place. No, that's not what it is. Oh, I was looking for emojis. instead of, yeah, yo, there we go. Duh. See, it helps when I have my glasses on. Anyways, that's about it. I didn't even say yo, I just said ye. I'm as dumb as I look. I love it. My wife is in California performing, so she's out of town, but miss her, but she'll be back Sunday, and yeah. So anyways, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay tuned after this. You should go to it, but Admiral Byrd's Secret Diary, like I said, pretty short episode. I think it's only like 20 minutes, but tune into it. Check it out. Tell me what you think, all right? Always leave comments too, man. I can't tell you the metrics on comments, the thumbs up. I'm going to sneeze. Man, I choked on that water last night. I swear I'm getting sick. It's crazy. Yeah, but every time you watch, man, even if you just leave a little comment underneath, just, give your thought or opinion about something. The algorithm just eats that up, and it bolsters everything. That's why I ask people to do it all the time. I don't think people that realize the impact it has, and it really does. So, and that's part of the retention and engagement. Those scores bring on, opportunities for advertisers and things like that, which are really starting to pour in, which is great. But we just want to continue to just build retention and build that evergreen audience. So if you enjoy an episode, man, share it with a friend. All right? Get their opinion on it. Ask them what they think. Have them come on board and we'll talk. And always, like I said, if you haven't gone to Aftermath on Patreon, and you can watch some of these, it's the lowest price I can put on it over there, like $5. But you can watch an episode and watch one of the Weston ones afterwards, especially the last one. And just see what it's about. So anyways, that's it for tonight. I got to head into work. So got some video editing to do tonight. Cause I right before I came on here tonight, I was recording a conversation with Arthur, the AI. And, I just can't wait for you guys to see all this stuff. So we can talk about it. So anyways, that is it, man. I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Friday night is always a great time. I'm going to stop. Oh, I'm not disparaging myself. I'm making fun of myself. Listen, I wouldn't rather be anybody else. Please don't take it as me being like, woe is me. I laugh at myself because the older I get, like last week was a perfect example. I've got 15 things going on, and I forget to hit this button. Right there, I forget to hit that button. And so what happens is I'm sitting there talking for 5 minutes, and mute is on. And, I probably wouldn't have done that 20 years ago. So I embrace it. I love it. I think it's good to be able to laugh at yourself, and there's plenty to laugh at. So, but I'm not disparaging myself or putting myself down. I take pride in this. I take pride in my work ethic, how much I put into it. Probably why I'm always tired and bags under my eyes and half sick. So, but you take the good with the bad. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you, Rebecca. You guys be awesome. Stay curious out there, and we'll catch you next week. Tune in tonight to the Ryan Files After Dark with Admiral Byrd. I appreciate all of you. Talk to your friends. Share some of this stuff. We got some bangers coming out. Let's do this. Thank you. Cheers.